Hello and welcome to the news from Bahrain International with me, Keith Johnston. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, met with the President of the UAE, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, at Casa Al Bahar Palace in Abu Dhabi. His Royal Highness highlighted the depth of the long-standing relations between Bahrain and the UAE, which have yielded many achievements benefiting both countries and their peoples. His Royal Highness noted the importance of furthering bilateral cooperation to achieve common goals, building on the continued support of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa and the UAE President, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. For his part, His Highness the UAE President welcomed His Royal Highness's visit and noted the depth of relations between both countries and mutual commitment to further advancing cooperation for the benefit of both countries. His Royal Highness extended the greetings of His Majesty the King to His Highness and His Majesty's best wishes of further progress and prosperity for the UAE and its citizens. In response, His Highness conveyed his greetings to His Majesty the King and his best wishes of further progress and prosperity for Bahrain. The latest regional and international issues of common interest and initiatives to further solidify Bahrain-UAE relations and cooperation were reviewed. The meeting was attended by the Minister of Finance and National Economy, Sheikh Salman bin Khalifa Al Khalifa, the Private Secretary to His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, Sheikh Abdullah bin Isa Al Khalifa, the Ambassador of Bahrain to the UAE, Sheikh Khalid bin Abdullah bin Ali Al Khalifa, and several senior UAE officials.
In addition to what links the Kingdom of Bahrain with the United Arab Emirates in terms of brotherhood and unity of destiny, there are also many cooperation of common bilateral understandings in various political, economic, social and cultural fields. Bahrain and the UAE enjoy deep historic ties, thanks to the keenness of the leaders of both countries, which affirms the strong cooperation between Bahrain and the UAE in all sectors, including the fields of trade exchange, economic cooperation and joint investment, in addition to coordination and political consultation for the benefit of the two peoples, through integration between the two countries in light of the political weight they possess and the pioneering role that enhances regional and international stability. Bahrain and the UAE continue to play an active diplomatic role to spread the concepts of peace, settle differences, and resolve issues. The bilateral relations contributed to expanding the horizons of joint cooperation between the two countries for the sake of the unity of the Gulf and Arab countries, as a result of the solidarity and concerted efforts and ideas in support of the principles on which the GCC is based on and in line with the joint Gulf action.
His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, a Deputy Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces and Prime Minister, Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, visited the 2023 International Defence Exhibition and Conference, IDEX, at Abu Dhabi National Exhibition Centre. His Royal Highness emphasised the role international military and defence exhibitions play in providing opportunities to exchange expertise in the military field. In this regard, His Royal Highness noted the UAE's continued success in hosting international events under the leadership of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. His Royal Highness commended the UAE on their success in hosting IDEX, specifically highlighting their commitment to hosting regional and global defence exhibitions over the years, and thanked them for their role in safeguarding regional security and stability. His Royal Highness toured a number of pavilions at IDEX and was briefed on the latest global defence, military and security systems. His Royal Highness commended the many international companies exhibiting modern military products, which solidifies IDEX as an international platform for global strategic defence, military and security partnerships. His Royal Highness noted that BDF's participation at IDEX is a reflection of the deep-rooted ties between Bahrain and the UAE, as well as the strength of cooperation between the two countries. His Royal Highness wished the UAE continued success in hosting international conferences and forums that elevate the region's position in the international military and defence sector. The Minister of Finance and National Economy, Sheikh Salman bin Khalifa Al Khalifa, the Private Secretary to His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, Sheikh Abdullah bin Isa Al Khalifa, and the Ambassador of Bahrain to the UAE, Sheikh Khalid bin Abdullah bin Ali Al Khalifa, were also in attendance. Deputy Prime Minister Sheikh Khalid bin Abdullah Al Khalifa, accompanied by a number of ministers, attended the ceremony organised by the Kuwaiti Embassy on the occasion of Kuwait's 62nd National Day and 32nd Liberation Day. Upon arrival, he is received by Kuwait's ambassador to Bahrain, Sheikh Thamad Jabba Al Ahmed Al Suba, and a number of officials. Sheikh Khalid bin Abdullah affirmed the depth of historic relations between Bahrain and Kuwait and the joint keenness to develop them in all fields, in line with the visions of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa and the Emir of Kuwait, His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jabba Al Suba. He congratulated the Kuwaiti leadership, government and people, wishing both countries security, stability, progress and prosperity. He stressed Bahrain's keenness to enhance joint cooperation and coordination for the benefit of both countries and valued Kuwait's support to Bahrain and fraternal stances under all circumstances. The Kuwaiti ambassador praised solid relations binding the two countries, led by the Emir of Kuwait and His Majesty the King. He expressed appreciation for the Bahraini government and people for their kind sentiments and thanked the Deputy Prime Minister for attending the ceremony. The President of Turkmenistan visited the Bahrain National Museum, where he was received by the President of the Bahrain Authority for Culture and Antiquities, Sheikh Khalifa bin Ahmed bin Abdullah Al Khalifa. The President toured the museum and reviewed the deep-rooted history and civilizations of Bahrain from Dilmun to the modern era. He started his tour from the Dilmun Hall, dedicated to preserving artefacts dating back nearly 4,000 years, then the Burial Hall, which provides information about the ancient site of the Dilmun Burial Mounds, which is the third site of Bahrain on the UNESCO list of World Heritage Sites. He was briefed on the museum's pioneering role in enriching the cultural movement in Bahrain. The President of Turkmenistan and his accompanying delegation left the kingdom following an official visit, during which he held official talks with His Majesty the King on cooperation and historic bilateral relations, in addition to the latest regional and international developments. He was seen off at the airport by Deputy Prime Minister Sheikh Khalid bin Abdullah Al Khalifa, the Minister of Justice, Islamic Affairs and Endowments, and Head of the Mission of Honour, Nawaf bin Mohammed Al Mawada, Vice President of the Supreme Council for the Environment, Vice President of the Higher Authority of the Rashid Equestrian Horse Racing Club, His Highness Sheikh Faisal bin Rashid Al Khalifa, the Maharik Governor, the Ambassador of Bahrain to Turkmenistan, and a number of officials. The Minister of Labour and President of the Labour Market Regulatory Authority, Jamil Hamidan, participated in the meeting of the partners to implement the Palestine National Employment Strategy, organised by the Arab Labour Organisation in Jordan, in light of the Arab and international efforts to support employment and economic growth in Palestine, as well as to implement the resolutions of the Arab Action Conferences and Board of Directors. The Minister of Labour affirmed that Bahrain's participation in the meeting comes in light of its support to joint Arab action, especially the efforts aimed at enhancing economic growth in Palestine and following up on the resolutions issued by Arab conferences. The Minister of Municipality Affairs and Agriculture, Waila Mubarak, and the United Nations Human Settlements Programme, UN Habitat Executive Director, Malmuna Sharif, signed an MOU between the Ministry and the UN Habitat to support the Kingdom's efforts in sustainable urban development in partnership with the Food and Agricultural Organisation, the FAO. The Minister stressed the importance of strengthening cooperation between Arab countries and the UN Habitat. He noted that the government, headed by His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, accords special importance to cooperation with UN organisations with regard to human settlements, in which Bahrain has achieved advanced results. The Minister added that the MOU is within the framework of enhancing fruitful cooperation between the two sides to contribute to enhancing the urban environment in the Kingdom and the achievement of sustainable development goals. The Minister of Housing and Urban Planning, Amna bint Ahmed Al-Rumehi, received the Executive Director of the United Nations Human Settlements Programme, UN Habitat, Malmuna Sharif, on the occasion of her visit to Bahrain. The Minister affirmed that Bahrain prioritises the implementation of the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals in its development plans and programmes, adding that this policy is highlighted by the indicators of the voluntary reports submitted by the Kingdom in this regard to the UN. She said that the standards that were applied in the plans of the 5 housing projects in terms of caring for the environment through afforestation and the use of environmentally friendly materials are factors that are in line with the 11th Sustainable Development Goal. She noted the close cooperation between Bahrain and the various UN organisations, which resulted in the launch of the State of Arab Cities Report 2022. The Executive Director of UN Habitat hailed Bahrain's commitment to implement the 2023 Sustainable Development Goals, expressing delight at visiting Salman Town. In the presence of the Minister of Sustainable Development, Nur Al-Khalif, the consultative workshop on sustainable development was held at the University of Bahrain. During the workshop, the participants discussed a number of key points that the Voluntary National Review Report will focus on from the academic side. The workshop is part of a series of workshops that highlight the efforts of various institutions in the public and private sectors in Bahrain, and it constitutes an advanced platform in which participants work on submitting ideas and proposals to be included in the voluntary report. The Minister of Tourism, Fatima Al-Asrafi, received a delegation from the Ministry of Heritage and Tourism of Oman and affirmed keenness to enhance tourism cooperation with Oman within the framework of the executive programme of the Memorandum of Understanding and Tourism Cooperation that was signed last October. During the meeting, the importance of investing in the long-standing brotherly relations between Bahrain and Oman was emphasised in order to activate joint work in tourism, culture and heritage sectors based on the ancient cultural heritage of the two brotherly countries. The importance of holding more of these fraternal meetings was also emphasised, and the Minister pointed out the importance of providing permanent channels for exchanging information and experiences in various fields of tourism, hospitality and entertainment industries between the two countries. The Bahrain Centre for Strategic International and Energy Studies at Dirasat organises a launch ceremony for the 2022 State of Arab Cities report titled Sustainable Funding for the Urban Infrastructure. Dirasat's chairman of the Board of Trustees, Sheikh Dr. Abdullah bin Ahmed Al Khalifa, Sheikh Dr. Abdullah praised Bahrain's successful strides in urban development and infrastructure to improve the quality of life for its population and enhance their ability to participate and demonstrate productivity. Sheikh Abdullah stressed the significance of the report as a regional first to be published in Bahrain, specifically for urban planners and those interested in various aspects of development in general. He noted that this cooperation reflected the trust invested by international organisations in Dirasat Centre and its accumulative achievements in recent years, which made it an experienced and trusted partner through its expertise and capabilities.
We're delighted today to launch the State of Arab Cities Report 2022. It's a cultivation of a partnership between the Bahrain Center for Strategic International and Energy Studies Dirasat and the UN Habitat along with the UNDP here in Bahrain. This report is the fruition of an ongoing partnership which resulted in issuing the report which reflects the State of Arab Cities Report. It provides with analysis, with statistics, the State of the Arab Cities Report, the challenges, the opportunities, and some support for decision-making processes across the Arab world.
Bahrain is considered one of the most important partners for the United Nations in the region, and one of the reasons for that is that we always contribute to regional research reports like the Arab Cities Report, and we're very proud of this partnership on this occasion with UN Habitat, the Regional Arab Office, and also with UNDP Bahrain. And we're very glad that the output of this partnership is a solid piece of research which can help inform urban planning issues across the entire Arab region.
I think today is a very historic moment that we are launching the State of Cities Report, Arab Cities Report for 2022. This is very, very important because we had just had a 4 crises: COVID-19, climate change, crisis in terms of disaster or man-made, and crisis in terms of capital. And this is very timely that this report is being launched today to see where are the cities, Arab cities now, and how can we move forward to have a green recovery and green financial and green infrastructure.
The findings of this report show the importance of sustainable cities, the importance of multilateralism, of governance in cities, but also the focus of it, and one of the most important topics is regarding urban infrastructure and the importance of financing urban infrastructure, finding alternative ways of financing infrastructure in terms of housing, public spaces, parks, and making our cities more sustainable.
Bahrain condemned Israeli forces storming of Nablus in Palestine, which resulted in the death and injury of a number of people. The statement stressed Bahrain's condolences to the families of the victims and the Palestinian people and government, wishing those injured a speedy recovery. The ministry confirmed the importance of de-escalating and providing protection for civilians in the occupied territories and underscored the need to resume the peace process in the Middle East. It highlighted the importance of establishing an independent Palestinian state with East Jerusalem as its capital in accordance with the two-state solution, relevant international legitimacy resolutions and the Arab Peace Initiative to enhance regional security, peace and prosperity. The University of Bahrain and the Arabian Gulf University hosted the winner of the ISA Award for Service to Humanity in its 5th session. Ophthalmologist Dr. Sundakroit reviewed his humanitarian initiatives in an effort in finding innovative, creative solutions. The winner shared his experience since he was a young doctor in Nepal and his journey that took 10 years to volunteer and help those in need. The doctor called on students and young people to build a team that possesses integrity, enthusiasm and positivity and form a common vision, continue efforts adhere to willpower, unity and focus on the goal to achieve the desired results. For his part, the Secretary-General of the award, Ali Abdullah Khalifa, expressed thanks and appreciation to the universities, conveying the greetings of His Highness, the Special Representative of His Majesty the King, in appreciation for their efforts.
First of all, I'd like to thank His Majesty, His Highness, and the ISA Foundation for bestowing me this prestigious award. And the medical community here in Bahrain seems to be very motivated and very well developed. And I'm pretty much sure that we're looking at some areas of working together, collaboration. And I hope it'll become fruitful. And but I still want to let the younger people know that there is so much they can do in the future. In terms of medicine is such a huge branch of science. You can make difference in people's life in many ways.
Following the directives of His Majesty the King to support the brotherly Syrian people in a humanitarian ordeal caused by the devastating earthquake that struck parts of their country recently, and in line with the distinguished fraternal relations between the two countries and their peoples, a plane carrying the first relief aid shipment to those affected by the earthquake arrived at the Damascus International Airport. Secretary-General of the Royal Humanitarian Foundation, Dr. Mustafa Al-Sayed, indicated that based on His Majesty the King's directives and the support of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, the RHF, led by His Majesty the King's representative for humanitarian work and youth affairs, launched a national campaign to support the quake-affected people in Syria and Turkey. He added that Bahrainis had participated massively in the Solidarity Day, setting the best example of solidarity with the brotherly Syrian people. In this regard, he unveiled a project to establish a hospital bearing the name of Bahrain in Syria as part of the relief and assistance work for the wounded who were affected by the devastating earthquake. Dr. Al-Sayed pointed out that this shipment of urgent aid includes medicines, equipment and shelter supplies, adding that a team of specialists will make a field tour of the areas affected to meet the needs of the people. Syrian Arab Red Crescent President Khaled Habathi expressed thanks and gratitude to His Majesty the King, praising the support of Bahrain's leadership, government and people.